If I told you guys that one of the most feared vehicles in War Thunder was an armored reconnaissance vehicle, you might think I'm a little bit crazy. Yet let me introduce you to the Fox, or in this case, the FV721. This variant of the Fox is the only one we have in War Thunder right now. I do think we should get more, but that's for a later video. So the Fox is a lightly armored reconnaissance vehicle that was deployed by the British Army back during a time where they was still a need for lightly armored reconnaissance vehicles. It was made to go out on enemy flanks, to get information, and get anything that they needed to get done behind enemy lines, fire control missions. It was also made to be able to be airdropped and deployed by things like the American C-130 Hercules, and is also amphibious, but they often removed the ability for it to float, especially towards the later end of its service. Now in War Thunder, it is armed with a 30mm cannon, and that's pretty capable, at close ranges, and at long ranges, it is pretty lackluster. So the APDS round you get is very, very good at taking out enemy vehicles. However, you do have to note a couple things. One, any vehicle you're going to go up against, you're going to have a very, very hard time penetrating from the front. Even light vehicles, unless your round falls perfectly, the side is where you're going to want to go and aim for. You're also almost always going to want to go for ammo shots, as taking out entire crews can take a lot of time. You want to keep your engagements with this vehicle very short in length, because you're very vulnerable to any sort of enemy fire, especially from 50 cals, which almost any vehicle at this BR has as a coaxial or a roof mounted. Now another thing that makes the Fox pretty dangerous in War Thunder, like I already had stated, was its high mobility. In the game, this is very good because it is able to get around all these enemy vehicles, get on the sides and the rear, and then use its 30mm cannon to take them out. Your 30mm cannon, despite not being a fast-firing one like the 20mm found on the XM-800T, it does have a bit more penetration and has a better value in my opinion. Whereas in the XM-800T is a bit more lackluster because you actually have a harder time aiming it, and the Fox is oftentimes now kept at a much, much lower BR than the XM-800T. I would say the XM-800T has a lot of pros over the Fox, but the Fox is by far, in my opinion, nowadays underrated because people, like I said, much more rather just talk about the XM-800T. Now, even dealing with heavy tanks, the Fox is able to actually do it. It just has to be very careful and, like I said, engage from the sides. Now, another thing that makes this vehicle very unique, in my opinion, is once again, like the high mobility that it has, that is, it's an AML 90 chassis, is the fact that it is kept at such a lower BR. Sitting at a BR that is what the XM-800T, I believe, started at, the XM-800T has now been moved up, I believe, 3 separate times. The Fox has only been moved up once. I do think it will go up at some point, because like I said, it has a very good round, it has the capabilities that are very similar to the XM-800T, just a much different playstyle. The XM-800T is very good at being loud, fast, and can pen a lot of things in the front, can pen a lot of things from the side. It's just, a very fast turret rotation, very fast firing weapon system. The Fox does not get to enjoy any of that. Now, it does have good turret rotation, but it doesn't enjoy a very fast reload. Sitting at 0.9 seconds and only getting to 0.8 seconds when aced, the reload rate on the 30mm is definitely not superior to the XM-800T's, but it does do more damage, so it's kind of a trade-off. The Fox is also technically capable of taking out low-flying aircraft and helicopters, but like I said, that reload rate really limits your ability. And so for the most part, I would definitely suggest sticking to the flanks and working on getting on ground and behind other people. Because like I said, really, realistically, you're going to want to be behind everyone or on the sides of everyone and never try to go frontal engagements. Even with light vehicles, always aim for ammo, as it's just very hard to get you around to do anything else other than take out their ammo. And that's the best way to kill anything with light vehicles, but especially the Fox. Now, I do think people have overlooked this aircraft in recent times, especially since the addition of the XM-800T, but I actually prefer this thing over the XM-800T. If you guys have the British ground tree, I would strongly suggest picking it up and playing it for a while. The Fox is definitely something that you'll enjoy. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Do you guys think Gaijin has forgotten about the Fox and needs to move it up, or do you think it's fine at its current BR rating? Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please consider hitting that like button and subscribe. Join the Discord link down below in the description, and I will see you guys in a later video.